So now that you've watched the previous two videos, hopefully you've picked your method. Hopefully you are either the creation method or the destruction method, or maybe you're a combo of the two. So now what we're going to do is two last questions. So this is objective 4, and I'm going to do one of them using the creation method, so method 1, and one of them using the destruction method, or method 2. So the difference with these questions is that I want you to see all these negative exponents. Now in chapter 4 we dealt with negative exponents as well, but there were no plus and minus signs in them. Okay, so you can't just say, hey, this a to the negative 2 is going to go to the bottom, because this isn't all multiplication, which makes it totally different. So the first step with this, which is the probably the most difficult step for people, is just to rewrite these with positive exponents. And the way to do it is just to make them their own little fraction. So to make a to the negative 2 a positive exponent, you just go 1 over a squared, plus b to the negative 1 would be 1 over b to the positive 1, all over 1 over a minus, now the 5 doesn't have a negative exponent, so it's going to go on the top, and then the b has a negative exponent of 3, so it's going to be b cubed. So this is your first job. Your first job is just to write all of the negative exponents with positive exponents, and the way to do that is to create their own little mini fractions. And again, the reason you can't just take them to the bottom is because of this plus sign. This is not a to the negative 2 times b to the negative 1, so you can't just change it to a division, right? You need to keep that addition in there, and if you put it to the bottom, it wouldn't be there anymore. So what I want you to do is pause the video, and I want you to rewrite this guy. So before we go into how to solve them, all I want you to do is practice that skill. So can you write this fraction using positive exponents? Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and you gave this one a go. And so you should notice that there was only 2 variables that has negative exponents. So the x to the negative 3 would become 1 over x to the 3. The 2 does not have a negative exponent, so it's going to stay on the top. And then the y to the negative 1 will be y to the 1 on the bottom. And then these guys on the bottom do not have negative exponents, so they're fine. Then what we're going to do is we are going to solve these. Now, I'm kind of thinking in my head, maybe I should do each method, but we'll kind of see where it takes us. So I'm going to do this one first using the creation method. So first step in the creation method is to write it as a division question. So it would be 1 over a squared plus 1 over b divided by 1 over a minus 5 over b cubed. Then you're going to create your common denominator separately. So this one would have a common denominator of a squared b. So this one would have to get multiplied by b. This fraction would have to get multiplied by a squared. Then, oops, don't change this to a multiplication. Not yet. That's too many steps in one. Okay, so this is still division. So this one's going to have a common denominator of ab cubed. So I'm going to multiply the first fraction by b cubed and the second fraction by a. Now that I have a single fraction divided by a single fraction, I'm going to flip and multiply. So b plus a squared over a squared b times ab cubed over b cubed minus 5a. Now I'm going to simplify. Now this one is not factorable, neither is this one, so the only thing I can do is simplify these guys. So this a squared is going to become an a, and then this b cubed is going to become a b squared. I'm left with b plus a squared times b squared, all over, what am I left here? An a, and then times b cubed minus 5a. And that's as far as I can go. So I mean, if I want to multiply through, I could get b cubed plus a squared b squared if I wanted to, and then ab cubed minus 5a squared, that's fine. But you can also just leave it in the factored form. I actually, and it's kind of bothering me that b is written second. I would like the b out front, but I'm trying not to be too picky about it. So let's do that exact same question again, but let's do it using the destruction method. So if I was going to do this one using the destruction method, I'd have 1 over a squared plus 1 over b, and I'd have 1 over a minus 5 over b cubed. So I have to look for my lowest common denominator. I have an a squared and an a, so that's going to be an a squared, and I have a b and a b cubed, so that's going to be a b cubed. And then, like I said, you're going to multiply every term by that lowest common denominator and show this step. It will make far less mistakes. right, over a squared b cubed times 1 over a, like that actually look like a 3, minus a squared b cubed times 5 over b cubed. And then we're going to simplify. I wish I had a different color. The problem is if I try to change colors, maybe you guys could tell me, but for some reason it just changes the whole color. Like if I go like this, it just changes all, oh, maybe not, maybe not. So a squared, it's not doing it. Okay, so a squared divided by a squared is gone. So you'd be left with, b cubed, see there we go, plus, and then if we do the next one, we have b cubed divided by b, so that's going to be a squared. And so then I end up with a squared b squared times 1. All over on the bottom, I'm not going to try. So a squared divided by a leaves me with an ab cubed. And then b cubed divided by b cubed, I'm left with minus 5a squared. And if we look at the other one, that's the exact same answer. B cubed plus a squared b squared over ab cubed minus 5a squared. So if you wanted to factor this to see if it could simplify, you can, but we already know that in factored form it doesn't simplify. So it's actually done. So, you got to pick your method. Are you a creationist? Or are you a destructionist? So whatever makes the most sense to you. I find it's usually about an 80-20 split, but do the one that makes the most sense to you. Okay, let's do this guy. So again, for this one, you could be a creationist or a destructionist. I feel like I should be consistent and do it both ways. So let's do the creationist first. So we have 1 over x cubed minus 2 over y divided by y plus 2 x cubed. Now, I'm going to make a common denominator for this first fraction, so it's going to be x cubed y. So I'm going to multiply this first fraction by y. I'm going to multiply my second fraction by x cubed. Now, this is a single fraction over 1, so I'm going to hit multiplied by and do 1 over y plus 2x cubed. Then I'm going to look to see if I can simplify anything. Now, how come I changed that to a minus sign? Sorry about that, guys. That should have been a plus sign all the way along. The reason I knew that I made a mistake is because something should always simplify. If it doesn't, it feels so dissatisfying. So that made me go back and look. And that happens. Go back and see if you can find your mistake. So now I can see that I've got y plus 2x cubed divided by y plus 2x cubed. And then I've got y over x cubed. 1 over x cubed y is a final answer. So that's the creation method. If I was to do the same one doing the destruction method, I just have to copy the question. So again, it was 1 over x cubed plus 2 over y all over y plus 2x cubed. So if I was going to do this one, the first thing I have to identify is what the lowest common denominator is. So this would have x cubed and a y. These guys don't have denominators. So I'm going to multiply every single term by x cubed y. So 1 over x cubed plus x cubed y times 2 over y. And then on the bottom, because I'm not getting rid of any denominators, I'm not going to multiply it through so that I leave it in factored form. Okay, and then I do it. X cubed divided by x cubed is 1, so I'm left with a y. Y divided by y is 1, so I'm left with plus 2x cubed. In my denominator, I have this beautiful x cubed y times y plus 2x cubed, and then it's divided by itself, and I'm left with 1 over x cubed y. So both methods end up in the same place, just different ways of getting there. You decide. Are you a creationist? Are you a destructionist? Do you like a combination? Sometimes I like to do this, sometimes I like to do that. I have found one question, and only one question, where it didn't work using the destruction method. It just came up with something that we didn't know how to factor, and yet it could factor, and it was complicated. Whereas when I went for the creationist one, the basic math skills, it totally worked. So you won't be asked any questions in this course that one works and the other one doesn't, but just be aware that that does happen, which is why there is always two methods.